Thanks very much, Michael. Can I also acknowledge the traditional owners on whose land we meet here at beautiful Gulkula, and to acknowledge the many clan groups who are here at Garma, and the many strong Mala leaders that are here. And can I thank YYF for an invitation to speak today. It's actually the first time I've spoken at Garma, but this is not the first time I've been on this stage. Sadly, I've been up here a few months ago and a couple of years ago for memorial services to pay tribute to a couple of incredible Yolngu individuals, Musgorowiwi and Dr. Yunupingu, who were incredible educators and leave an incredible legacy behind in education. As Michael said, as Sean said in the introduction, yes, I'm a former teacher. It's what brought me to this beautiful part of the world in 1990. And sitting just down in front of me is my first assistant principal at Lynne High School, Greg Wern, who continues to work incredibly hard in that education sphere. Given the line of work that I am in, and given that there is no guarantee in politics, I continue to keep my teacher registration current. You always have to have a plan B up your sleeve. So whilst it is almost, at the end of this year, it'll be 20 years since I left teaching, and in between I had a stint working in community relations with the mining company before going into politics, but I always make sure I renew my teacher registration. Michael has described to you, if elected to govern on the 27th of August, what we would do differently. And I can tell you there's nothing like having a spell in opposition to examine hard, to consult thoroughly, to travel around the territory to work out why you lost government, where it is that you went wrong, where you let people down, and where it is you need to change and do things better to see a return to government. I think putting children front and centre is absolutely critical. I think recognising that the sector of education cannot operate in isolation. We have to look at our children 0 to 5 across education, across health, across housing, and across the services that we provide to those children and their families and their communities is absolutely critical if we are going to make a difference, not just in an electoral term, 4 years in the Northern Territory, but beyond. I arrived to listen to the last forum, to our last couple of speakers there, a wonderful Indigenous teacher, and forgive me, I've forgotten her name, from Alice Springs, Kate.
She went to the wrong school.
Talking about the importance of engaging with children, talking about engaging with their families and working with them side by side. She is a wonderful example also of the fact that what we need is more Indigenous people working in education, in health, and right across the sector. That would be my goal at the time I'm ready to leave politics, and that decision isn't always in my hand, that we see more people. And these are the sorts of things that we talk about in our childhood policy, in our health policy, about having more Indigenous people and assisting people to step up into those roles. There is so much talent out there. I know from my travels extensively around northeast Arnhem Land, around to our homelands, that there is incredible work that goes on, and it occurs because we have such strong Yolngu out there who are working with their families. So we need to see more people and assist people to step into those roles if we are ever going to make a difference. We have to have that investment at the front end, into early intervention, into prevention, into supporting families. We know that the Families as First Teachers program has been a great success. There's bipartisan support for that every step of the way. We need to assist children right across our communities, Ballanda and Yolngu, to be able to engage in the education process But if they're in a house that they're sharing with 20 other people, where the competition for food in that fridge, where the competition for money makes it difficult, then we have to start addressing that. Michael made reference to the events of this week that we've observed. We have been absolutely rocked by what we have seen. We can't continue to be spending money at the other end of the spectrum where we're at risk of losing them. We have to start back at the other end before these children are even conceived, to be working with their parents to try and turn around and make a difference. It's something that we will do with a recognition that it has to be over a generation, not just in the first 4 years of our government. I know that we have seen in the last 4 years resources stripped from education, funding that has really seriously and negatively impacted on Yolngu's desire and their aspiration to have their children educated on homelands, and I'm sure Warren will talk a little bit more about that. But what I see when I travel around communities and out into homelands is kids who are strong and happy, engaged in their schooling, and we need to see that across every one of our schools in the Northern Territory for our Indigenous and our non-Indigenous kids. Thanks very much.